But I do think this is going to give us enough time to play a League of Bilbo. So Bilbo, Thief of the Night, 2 mana 2/2. Spells you cast anywhere other than your hand cost 1 less to cast, so it does discount your Escape Cling to Dust. Just whenever it attacks, you can play an instant sorcery or artifact from your graveyard. And then if it's an instant or sorcery, you exile it. You don't exile it if it is a artifact, so you can keep playing the baubles. So it's kind of like a second Psychic Frog in the sense that if you untap with it and can attack, it's going to give you value every turn, which can really just have you build around this effect. And it does seem especially good with Sheoldred's Edict and Flow State, where you get to go like play it, then flash it back for 1 mana all in the same turn. I think that's kind of a cool dynamic. So I do think there's a lot of ways to build Bilbo, but like I like to do a lot of the times with the new cards, I like to just do a very boring build, a very boring build to see how it goes, and then we can go a little bit more out there. Yeah, we trophied with the mono blue deck. My opponent's on a Mold of 6. Always nice to have a Thoughtseize against a Mold of 6. But yeah, but Illness stopping the Fleshraker stuff, or the Fleshraker and Brood like it is good against Brood Scale. Thoughtseize is a lot better against Affinity when you're the one on the play. Haven't seen a lot of Affinity later. What about Bilbo and Tomio Emery Shell? It seems like it's going to be worse than Key to the Side Door or Loki probably, but I mean, you could play it. So now they have no cards in their hand, so let's hope. Okay, they crack a Bauble. Thanks, opponent. Although we're not thrilled about all of these drone tokens. Is Brood Scale May? Does it cause an unending loop? It might. I don't know if it's a May or not. A Synthesizer is interesting. They had a Mishra's Bauble off of it. Okay. So the mystery card is a spell. Do I have another basic island? I think I drew both my islands. So I have a third one. So I do think I want to fetch an island so I could just discard 1 card to fly the frog on defense here. Yeah, dude, I need Illness in the ranks. I think I want to play frog first in this spot. If we were on to play this game and could have taken the Emissary, their hand would have been so bad. They can Claw of Gix the Synthesizer. The Explosives on 2, okay. Obviously very good against my hand and I think my deck in general. I will go ahead and just trade a Flooded Strand for a drone token. So we won't be able to play the Bilbo really into this Explosives. Did you see rulings on Bilbo on an adventure? Spells like Questing Druid? No, what's the ruling? Let's say no to both of these. So we'll have Flow State online for next turn, which is kind of nice. I think I'm just going to push now. Well, I guess it doesn't really affect a top deck Kappa very much. You can just cast the Adventure. So they hit a Steam Vents off the Claws of Gix sack. Interesting. You could like what do you mean you could just cast it? If you could Bilbo it and cast it? You have Kappa covered. I know I have Kappa covered. Doesn't mean I don't want to make it more awkward to cast. You can cast the Adventure and the main body. When are we talking about? I think I'm taking backup Bilbo. Weapons on top with the Claws of Gix in play. It's a bit disaster, I guess. If the Adventure spell resolves casting off Bilbo, you can exile the card to cast it also. It's just so if the Adventure spell resolves, Casting off Bilbo. Wait, how can you even cast an adventure spell off Bilbo? It's not an artifact, instant, or sorcery in your graveyard. How is that even possible to cast in the first place? Right on time, Spell Snare. Because I'm not sure. I am misunderstanding. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't feel like you're explaining very well either. It's a spell in your graveyard, but not a card. Bilbo doesn't target. I see. I mean, I guess I just didn't think it would count as something in your graveyard, anyways. But I hear you're saying that it does. Bilbo cares about the spell you're casting, not the qualities of the card in the graveyard. I see. I guess I just didn't think it would count as an instant or sorcery in the yard. Again, probably won't be a big deal for Modern because there just aren't that many playable adventures. Yeah, not targeting is good for other reasons too, just like dodging targeted hate. So do they have another artifact in their hand to... I guess they should probably just cast the Emissary from Warp and we can't win. Okay, let's bring in our Vexing Baubles and our Explosives. You got the Edicts for the Kappa Cannoneer. He'll play 1 Spell Snare, 2 Force of Negation, 0 Cling, 3 Fatal Push. Let's try this. Maybe I want the 4th Force of Negation so I can tap out for... Yeah, I'll do this so I can tap out for a 2-drop and then Force on turn 2. Yeah, I don't think the adventure part on Bilbo seems to matter very much, but it is cool that you can cast adventures from the graveyard with it. It feels like we could be on the 1 blocker for about that point. You could be. I mean, Affinity is also like way on the downswing, and I think it's fine to be playing explosives instead. Justin posted a vintage list with Bilbo Questing Druid. I do like Questing Druid. I don't think the Modern's format about it. Getting an adventure at -1 mana and then -1 spell isn't enough. I don't know. It's the problem is you have these adventures in your deck that suck when you don't have Bilbo in play, right? Like Question Druid is like, let's say that's the best one, and this card will be pretty good when you have Bilbo in play. But if it's not in play and you don't have active Bilbo, and another thing is when you have active Bilbo, you should be just winning most of the time anyways. Sounds great. I guess I could cast the Thoughtseize off the Bilbo here, or in turn 3 if I need it. It's just that's the problem is that like active Bilbo is good for you. You just want cards that are good when you don't have active Bilbo is what I'm trying to say. Do I Edict this turn? Do I let the Emery be in play for a turn? Can play Mox Opal. Playing Mox Opal is not. It's not too big a concern, maybe. I think I'll Edict this turn. Flow State is online while they haven't cracked the crypt. Yeah, I don't know if we'll do it again, Jake, but it was definitely at least funny as a one-time thing. They do have a weapons, which is scary. So I probably need to crack the explosives this turn before the claws is just gonna be able to kill the Bilbo. Although they have the saga. So maybe I go Flow State this turn. Take a lot of damage, but oh, they popped the crypt. Sure, I wasn't sure they're going to, but fine. I guess we'll take backup explosives. We're gonna take a lot of damage, but if we can pop the explosives after the saga triggers, then the weapons may not do all that much. Although maybe they just also have a Kappa Cannoneer, and we already used our Edict and we're cooked. How about Bilbo and Artifact Mystic Forge deck? It's almost never right to be blue in those builds. Never say never, but I will say almost never. We could also pop the explosives, and then we could play a Bilbo. But the problem is if they get another Claws of Gix. Yeah, I think I just need to go explosives and pop it. They have a rebuke. How do we feel about paying? They do have no cards in their hand. Yeah, I guess I'm not broke. Pay. Cold to explosives, of course. Just cast another one. The thing is, I could have another one in my hand. The card's really good. I'm like I'm a lot weaker to top deck Kappa Cannoneer, but I feel like I want to have the other one. Although the counter argument to this is Bilbo lets me replay the explosives, so I can set up for that. Tough one. Needle. I mean, I can't beat Needle anyways, because I have to pop the explosives after the Saga resolves to kill Claws. I just have to hope they don't have Needle in their deck right now. They don't. One of the two cards was a land. They Claws of Gix. I mean, I didn't need to spend mana for that. I was gonna pop the explosives. Did they forget about the Islet? Maybe they forgot about the Islet. They should have held that too, because they should have held that because then they could have used it on the explosives later. Winning Needle from winning. Well, they could Needle explosives and they could use the Claws to get rid of the munitions tokens. I could maybe explosives on 2 this turn. How do you feel about that? Versus playing Bilbo. Seems really close. I don't know. I guess the Vexing Bauble turns off the weapons pretty well. Bilbo for sure. Yeah, I think it's more for sure too now that we have got the Vexing Bauble. But again, we kind of lock ourselves out of the ability to explosives on 2 because of the Bilbo. I mean, we could if we wanted to, I guess. We came to see Bilbo. I mean, Bilbo's still here. Yeah, we could eat the following turn, but then it's on 2 and it kills the Bilbo. That's the issue. But the Vexing Bauble, I think, makes it pretty good. Synthesizer's great here. They hit a canal. Does my opponent just have the tech that Synthesizer's just nuts in Affinity and has been this whole time? Okay, let's see. We draw a frog. Sanctiplate. Oh, I missed that. I did a pretty bad job, I guess, of like looking at like the stock modern decks if anybody's playing any tech. In my defense, it's kind of boring. Take 2. So now we've got Kappa Cannoneer Insurance. That's fine. Barely an inconvenience. Can beat another one too with the Bilbo. So playing that main phase 1 so that I can play the flow state from the yard for 1 mana with 2 modes. So if I draw an untap blue source, I'll hold up Counterspell, otherwise I'll Thoughtseize. I guess we'll take... Oh, I've got a Vexing Bauble in play, silly me. Dude, you had a Ravager in your hand? I was dead to that Ravager. Holy guacamole. Starting to think y'all were wrong in that I should have played explosives on 2 when I had the chance. They hit a Metallic Rebuke. Okay, we win. Do I have lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Guys, what's 10 plus they could rebuke this oh they can't anymore. What's 10 plus 3? I think that's 13. Oh, but I only have 9 cards in my hand. I was going to discard everything but a counterspell. Okay, game 3 on the draw. I'm going to play a 4th push on the draw over the Preordain. Yeah, we trophied the one league we played with the Ryoki. It was really good. Oh, could pop Bauble, sure. Nice. Okay, well, if we're going to keep this hand. This hand would be better on the play. Sorry about that. Oh, you can also loop Vexing Bauble with Bilbo. You just sack it for 1 mana, then replay it for 0. Any reason to hold 1 card, not 2? They just there's no difference because they're top decking and they're dead to everything. There's no card they can draw. Dang, I wish I was on the play and I could have played this Vexing Bauble. Idiot. I do think I need to Thoughtseize before bobbling. Maybe you can go Thoughtseize again plus Bauble next turn, we'll see. Can maybe get the Bilbo going too. Happy to be able to take that. I guess the Thoughtseize is not that likely to be very good. Like they're just there's almost nothing that they're gonna be sandbagging this turn. Great top deck. Yeah, I'm gonna have to draw an Engineered Explosives to win. So I guess maybe playing Bilbo so I can draw more cards is gonna be the move. They may have boarded in the Needle though. Gets Kappa. They could have played Kappa this turn. So it's like we can't Thoughtseize it this turn. Pretty dead to most things. Pretty dead to skateboard. I'm gonna try to replay this off the Bilbo for 0 and then expect them just Tormod's Cryptid instead. Okay, I guess not. Oh, sorry. Fatal twice. Oh, I can't because they're not gonna they're not gonna make the construct before, and then there's not this in play. I guess you wanted to kill a drone token. Maybe you could have killed a drone token, but I think I want to try to save it for the construct next turn. But they've got the crypt, so I was kind of hoping they crypt the Vexing Bauble instead. But we're probably just dead to skateboard. I think we're on the play this game. We're probably winning really easy. We were not. We were on the draw this game. Deck didn't look bad though. Dimir is really bad against Affinity. I think the card Bilbo looked good, which is what we're looking for. Maybe I should have been playing it here already. I think if I see a card I like, I may just play Watery Grave tap so I can save the Surveil value for turn 3. Do I like Force of Negation here? I guess not really. Where can you find us? You can always do !deck in the chat or go to moxfield.com/user/aspiring-spike to see any of the decks we've been playing. I still have Shang-Chi and Elves list, but no Eladamri. I'm pretty sure you have your reasons. Seems strange. Well, the reasons we're not playing Eladamri is we're playing a bunch of the new card draw elf, and so and we're also playing the maybe I should have forced that. We're also playing the we're playing the new card draw affinity elf, and we're playing the 6/6 cast an elf draw card. I think Eldamri is like not super necessary. Yeah, GG's newbie. So my opponent's probably playing Brood-Scale. Could be a few different things. Could I guess technically be Titan. Yeah, seems like Brood-Scale with a stomping ground. Okay, I think it is Brood-Scale. And this is actually pretty awkward because I can't really stop them from comboing with my counterspell. I need to draw a removal spell off the Frog or the Preordain. Do key decks want to run 4 Gemstone? Gemstone's interesting with key. We played Mono Black. We had a really fun first match, but It seemed like I wanted to play more life gain or less copies of the of that card. I guess I just die. Hold on. So they could miss a land drop. Yeah, they could. I guess yeah. If they don't have a land, we are not necessarily dead. Hopefully they have 6 spells in their hand, so I can counter those spells. All right. So we're gonna bring in the consigns and the break the ice. Don't know. I might want explosives. I think probably not. Snare's pretty good, I think. Countess Rumble and obviously countering Brood Scale is really important. Got the Cling. Got 3 forces. Got a Bauble. Let's get a Bauble. They've got Vexing Bauble in their deck. Okay, on the play. Snap keeping this. I have been thinking about key to the side door, seeing like is there maybe a colorless shell you could play in key to the side door? The Gemstone Caverns definitely makes a lot of sense. It's like you have Gemstone Caverns, Mox Opal, Karn the Great Creator, but besides that, you don't necessarily have a lot of good options. Key to side door, Loki grinding station. Yeah, I like Loki a lot. I haven't liked Loki as much in these mono blue shells. I mostly think that it's just easy to have so much air in your deck, and you're drawing a lot of cards. You're drawing a lot of cards, but if you're playing like the grinding station deck, if your opponent just stops you from having a hasty Imri, your deck just does nothing. Is my concern. Have not played the new elf yet. I have a build. We'll get to it this week, hopefully. Takes a while to get to everything, of course. So they play one of their 2 brood scales. I think Bilbo is going to be better in an artifact shell than it is in a frog shell. I guess I've heard a lot of people say this. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me because like Bilbo doesn't seem better to me than playing Key to the Side Door or Frog. It's kind of worse than Imri in a lot of ways. It doesn't seem very good to me there. So I think I'm gonna be able to replicate Consign on Chrysalis this turn. So I'm surprised that people are high on it in an artifact shell. Like I don't even know like what the like artifact shells are also worse at removing blockers. Like when you're playing Dimir, like you get to kill the blockers so you can keep hitting with Bilbo. You get to leverage your counter spells to continue to have just good turns with to continue to have good turns with Bilbo. I don't think it really makes that much sense like almost at all to me in an artifact shell. What can they really? They've already played their land. I guess I'll Edict. Maybe the Veil of Summer. This like beating Veil of Summer could be great. It's basically Emery 5 for 6. So if I mean it's the card is much worse than Emery, right? Like can we like let's like this is almost just like a clear logical path. Bilbo is much worse than Emery in these shells, and you would much rather play Loki Key to the Side Door as other card advantage shells in these like Imri Tomio piles. You're not really looking for extra copies of Imri. But it's like it needs to attack. It needs to attack, and it's an extra mana. I Preordain for land. I think we just pass. So like I mean, this is why I think I'm gonna be playing Bilbo and like Dimir and Izzet and like Grixis kind of shells. I don't think it makes almost any sense at all in those in like the like a Ryo style artifact shells. I don't think we can let that resolve. We do have them pretty frog locked here. Do I Thoughtseize the Emrakul? That doesn't really matter too much. Could wait on it too. Yeah, this would have been a great Lurrus deck, huh? Sure. I guess I'll just take the Emrakul now. He's too slow for the Delver DRC style decks? I don't think so. I mean, that's basically what this is. I think Bilbo is good in decks with like lots of counter magic and card draw and removal, and that's what those decks are. So their best draw by a lot is Urza Saga. They maybe even like have no good draws besides Urza Saga. Bilbo's been good. We've just played against Affinity Broodskill so far, which it's maybe not good against those specific decks. Do you have a Bilbo Questing Druid list? I'm not really planning on playing those cards together. Or it's like Questing Druid is good with Bilbo. Questing Druid it's not really very good right now. I think that it's a card that I liked a lot pre Modern Horizons 3, and it's a card that I think has just been power leveled out of the format a little bit. It's just not quite powerful enough anymore. And so I'm of the opinion if you have an active Bilbo and you're attacking and you have spells to play in the graveyard, like you don't really need to try to maximize those situations. You want to be playing higher quality interaction and removal so you can create those games more often. You can more often make games where Bilbo is able to attack. I don't think you want to be playing more cards that are good when Bilbo is attacking. You want to just play higher cards quality in general. Look, this is a game where we've played like 6 turns and we're just now finding our Bilbo. It's like, imagine if we had drawn Questing Druid before then. Oh my goodness. And then also like playing red removal in the Slumbering Trudge formats, it's pretty tough. Like the pushes and the edicts I think are really, really good. Yeah, we did trophy our first league with Key. Key is looking really scary. Down to 6 life. My opponent has not hit me once yet. I had to play a Vexing Bauble, that's fine. They should sack it, try to draw Saga. They do. Questing Druid is very good, Bilbo, when you're exiling Power 9. That's yeah. The higher card quality of the format is, I guess, the better Questing Druid gets. I do think Key's strength was largely due to 8 Moxen. I agree, it's a big part of it. So I definitely want to keep the Break the Ice so I can beat the top deck Saga. Kind of going through the motions till game 3. Can flash, or I guess we could break the ice this turn, but I mean, and flash it back next turn. Seems like I'd rather just flash back Flow State. I guess I could flash back Flow State and attack for lethal. Oh, we can overload it next turn. Burn down all the groves. Do you have a trophy list? It's in the Mox field. Of course it's in the Mox field. So I can discard 7 cards next turn for exactly lethal. Or I can overload Break the Ice. Okay, game 3 on the draw. I think I'm kind of interested in playing explosives on the draw. I think we're especially weak to Saga tokens. I think I'm going to trim Counterspell for Mishra's Bauble 3. I think Is It Bilbo with Corey Steelcutter is also pretty interesting. You can cast Corey Steelcutter from the yard for 1 mana. Corey Steelcutter is obviously a card that likes you to play a lot of spells. You can haste Bilbo with Corey Steelcutter, get the attack trigger in the late game. Could do Grixis too. Sure, gonna keep this. Nice to have the Bauble to just replay with the Bilbo. Can replay Break the Ice. Yeah, Bilbo with Namor is interesting. I've been kind of itching to play Namor again too. It's a little bit weird because Namor wants you to play more mana symbols, and Bilbo wants you to play colorless mana sources or like generic costs to take advantage of it. And like Namor wants you to play like Archmage's Charm. Oh, sorry, I meant to Bauble here. I guess I'll still Bauble on their turn, but I should Bauble to Scribe. Right, we'll just take the Brood Scale, I guess. So love to see that Grove of the Burned Willows. I guess Bilbo lets you break the ice for 5 from the yard. It's kind of interesting. So they play the Forest, they play the Stirrings. They get a Writhing Chrysalis, which they cannot play next turn. So I think I'm gonna play Bilbo. I don't know what they're gonna get off the Saga, but they already have a Blade in play. I think I'm more interested in killing the Temple or the Grove to like just delay the Chrysalis for a turn. If I kill the Saga with the Break the Ice, I'm not really delaying the Chrysalis. What key was it? Key Uriah. We played the Uriah build for the trophy. You haven't played the Kethis version yet. They actually have the Thoughtseize, which is the wrong option, I think, because I can just keep replaying the Bauble. So my opponent's hand is Temple, Grove, Chrysalis, Mystery card. This is the Mystery card commercial district. Although it's pretty wise for them to play this because now I'm not going to be able to keep them off of the. I mean, they of course they played anyways, but I'm not going to be able to break the ice and stop them from playing the Chrysalis next turn. So let's attack with Bilbo. And we'll replay the Bauble unless they crack the Lantern. So I've got a couple options. I can try to Preordain into Consign to Memory. I can also just crack explosives on 1 now. I'm going to let them draw a card if I do that. Let's take a look at our top card. It's another copy of Preordain. I think I am going to keep that. Okay, and then I guess we're going to lose it as we play this this frog. So I can go attack with Bilbo, replay the Bauble, get Revolt for the Fatal Push, since I'm playing the Bauble at instant speed in combat here. It's an interesting equip. Land would be nice, so I could also break the ice this turn. Maybe we can draw it off the frog. So let's go attack with both. Now the problem, I guess, is if they crack the Lantern, but yeah, they don't. So casting the Mishra's Bauble, looking at my top card, just to plan this turn a little bit better. It's a copy of Sheoldred's Edict. I guess that doesn't change a lot. Let's go and just push this, and then it'll be interesting to see, do they chump block the Psychic Frog or not? They do, which I'm okay with denying them the mana here. Although I guess their hand is full of a lot of mana. Their hand's Grove. Mystery card. We'll just draw the Edict and hold up Snare Edict instead of playing another frog. Don't want to lose to top deck Brood Scale. It's interesting that people are, they still play Writhing Chrysalis. Like, I mean, it's just a random board state maybe, but I think Michael Spawn would be better. Cards of Solid Grand Piece and Threat of 1. Yeah, you could say the same for Sowing Mycospawn, which is what you're playing it over usually. Maybe I should Explosives on 0. Okay, nice. I guess we're going to keep both of these on top. You think I'm just going to pop this now? What's my take on the Rise of Devoted Druid? Do you think there's a way to combine it with the Quirion Ranger deck? You can combine it. I'm biased, I guess, but I mostly just think that deck is worse than the Quirion Ranger Nantuko version. It is faster, but it's like it's a lot more fragile, I think. But they're also very similar. Like archetypally, they kind of are the same deck, maybe not. But I really like my version. I'm very biased. Also, is is definitely true. I'm glad it's doing well. You know, it's that combined seems sick. Yeah, I don't think there's a I don't like Devoted Druid is still a good deck, I think, and if you combine them, it's good. Like there's not really there doesn't seem like there's a wrong way to build that deck. There's got to be a best way for sure, but there doesn't seem to be like a really incorrect way. Do I have lethal? I have 3 points of power. I need to discard 10 cards. I don't think I can discard 10. Let's just break the ice and hold up Consigns. Got just like the easy mode. And then next turn maybe I can overload break the ice. I was playing your Badger Mill combo deck 4-1-3 leagues in a row. I have no idea what Eldarmy is for. Well, I didn't either, right? So there was someone who they went like 9-1 in a tournament with Eldarmy, and like in theory it's like a tutorable value card. And I wanted to try it because they had success with it, and I wanted to try because they had success, and I really disliked it, and I would not play it again. And I think I like the Nature's Rhythms. I'm not sure. There's a lot to like about Nissa in that spot too. It just really attacks from a weird angle that people always have a hard time with. But yeah, I wanted to try it because they had some success with it, but I did not like it. So Overload, we can flashback break the ice for 5 off the Bilbo next turn. Okay, so 1-1. Bilbo looking good. I guess I'm keeping this. Very painful hand. Glad my opponent didn't play a Ragavan. I'm going to go ahead and card select here instead of looking at the top card of their deck. Do I want to draw Flow State? I guess I don't hate the idea of Flow State here, especially with like the Surveil land and the Force. I might pitch it to Force. Okay. So the Overgrown Tomb means this is Goryo's, not Blink, because they want to be able to hardcast the Atraxa. Did we get Thoughtseize bugged? No, they have a Felia. Or they have Mending. I guess it's Mending. So let's wait since the I think we want to have Counterspell up for top deck for Frog drawn off the Mending. I don't want to take Mending with the Thoughtseize. It's Otherworldly Gaze, sure. If it was Mending, we might have had better Thoughtseize targets. I feel like I almost want the third Arbor. I mean, Arbor did get a lot better with the printing of Shang-Chi, but I think 2 is right. Especially if you play the other Green Sun Zenith effect. So they graveyard a Goryo's, and they graveyard a Flooded Strand, and they graveyard a Marsh Flats. I'm not a big fan of this card. I know some people really believe in it. Really wanted an untapped land there. Maybe we could have just kept the Sewers anyways, but okay. With the Spell Snare, I can cast a Thoughtseize this turn. Might just be getting an Ephemerate, but that's okay if they just have nothing. But I need to be able to beat Goryo's, and I need to be able to beat Frog, and of course Spell Snare is really, really good at doing both of those things. One thing that's kind of fun in this matchup too is Bilbo can just keep replaying Nihil Spellbomb over and over again. Is there another creature playing the flex spot over Eldamri? For Formidable Speaker is what I've been playing, because you can Formidable Speaker lets you Green Sun and put an Nantuko into your hand, and it's also just fine to draw. Can discard extra leyline sometimes. It's good with the haste ability is good with you can use the mana from Shang-Chi to activate the Formidable Speaker ability. I've been playing one there. It's like it's fine. It's definitely not mandatory or anything. All right, so it seems like a fine turn to get the Frog going. I don't think we need to cast the Thoughtseize. I'm gonna put the card on top. Goryo sure does just draw awful sometimes, huh? So let's try to find another land off of a Preordain here. Y'all remember Serum Visions? Rest in peace. Esther with the 57 months. Thank you, sweetie. I think maybe keeping another flow state's greedy. I could discard like the Force of Negation to get the flow states online though. Maybe the Thoughtseize is risky here if they have a Solitude, but I found basic Swamp, so it's kind of free to cast. And they are out of Surveils. Sure. What did they keep on top? Maybe they did put 3 cards in the yard on the second. I thought they kept a card on top of the the flashback Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, they discard the Marsh Flats, they discard the Swamp, so they still have the Overgrown Tomb in their hand for hardcast Atraxa, which I guess we need to make sure we have our Counterspell up for starting next turn. Yeah, I thought they topped the last Surveil. I may have misseen. Maybe they just put another land. No, they did put a card on top. I had no idea. We trophied with the key deck. Any considerations to force there? Does turn on the flow state. Yeah, maybe it was fine. This game's not super losable for whatever that's worth. I guess we could have done this before damage, although I might have drawn a better thing to discard, like a push. They discard Atraxa and they discard Gorios, which is weird, I guess. I feel like I mean, they must have kept another Gorios. But this card's also really good here because they could just hardcast it. They got 1 card in their hand after we snare the Gorios. Going through the motions here. Is everything all right with Lucy? I've noticed you had a picture up with you for a while. Yeah, this is an advertisement for Helix Sleep Mattress. All right, cast in a flow state. Writhe with the Twitch Prime. Thank you, thank you. Use the Edict on this. All right, they're out of cards in their hand. I think we'll maybe stop playing with our food, and we can just discard to get this to 7 or 8 power, and then hold up Counterspell. I guess the flow state is just +1 damage here. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So up again against Gorios, that is good. Let's go ahead and bring in our Nihil Spellbombs. The Edicts are really important, so you can deal with resolved Quantum Riddlers. I actually think the Force of Negations end up being not so good, because like the Snare and Nihil Spellbomb and Cling to Dust and Thoughtseize, like we're so good at dealing with their Goryo's plan. I think I want to play 1 copy. It's also good against Teferi, but Trim a Bauble. Shiny with the 51, welcome back. Yeah, did not draw Bilbo this match. And Hyper Nova, that's your 1, thank you. Bilbo has been really good. I definitely have. I think Bilbo has been like even a little better than I expected it to be. Although we haven't played a lot of it yet. I do think looping the artifacts is really good. Like looping Vexing Bauble, looping Mishra's Bauble, obviously explosives, looping Spellbomb. That dynamic I'm liking a lot, but and like getting access to this in decks that can't really play Emery. I'm actually gonna keep this on the draw against Gorios. Double Thoughtseize on the draw is so good against them. You can type exclamation point overlay to get the tracker and the overlay and stuff. Okay, so I gotta take the frog, I think. Bilbo's Luris. Kind of reminiscent of Luris, yeah. Although I guess Luris is, brings back permanence. This brings back instants and sorceries, and they meet in the middle with artifacts. They do keep a card on top. Probably Ephemerate, I would guess. Oh, just a second. Weird that they wouldn't warp a Riddler if they kept the second Riddler. Seems like I should take the Spider-Man, because if I take a Riddler, then they can Spider-Man a Riddler. Although I guess now they can Gorios as Spider-Mans. I don't know. They don't Surveil, which is probably incorrect, although I don't love them having this Prismatic Ending in their hand. They should definitely warp a Riddler. And that's the conclusion they come to as well. See if they draw Ephemerate. That would be bad. Uh-oh. So yeah, don't love that they've got this Prismatic Ending in their hand. Okay, I think we're going to go play Frog this turn to trade it for the Prismatic Ending and then try to use the Bilbo to take over this game. That's going to be the plan, at least. I think it makes sense. Like, they go Prismatic Ending this turn. I play Bilbo, then they hardcast Riddler, then I can, like, go flashback like Edict, and then, like, maybe flashback Thoughtseize or flashback Bauble. Then that turns on the flow states. I can flashback the other Edict on the other Riddler, maybe. Now, if they just graveyard an Atraxi here for the Gorios in their hand, then we'll just forget everything I just said and we'll go to game 3. They're tanking pretty hard. So, I mean, it's got to be a spell. No, I guess maybe they would think on a land, because their hand is Riddler. Yeah, they keep a card on top, but their hand is Riddler, Prismatic Ending, Gorios, Mystery card. So they may just be thinking, do I want land number 5? And I'm hoping they keep land number 5, because that's that is the game I'm trying to play against them. What was the overall impression by Key? Was it higher ceiling than expected? Key was really, really good. Key was really, really good. I don't usually like to get... Okay, they kept a spell on top. I don't usually like to get so, like, lost in the woods on the terminology like this, but it was really good. I liked it a lot in that shell, at least. I don't know like what the minimum number of legends you're playing are, and number is also like they all need to be really cheap so that they can be in play to cycle. Having legendary lands discard was really, really good, so I would definitely be looking to play Gemstone Caverns in some builds. Caverns just seems like such a natural fit for the card. Kethis is a deck I want to play with it pretty bad. Would Grixis with this be good? You could play Grixis. Like, this is just like this is a very normal way to build a deck, of course, but there are certainly going to be a lot of ways to build this deck going forward. Yeah. So I think I want to go Thoughtseize first to play around Force of Negation. We know the hand is Gorio's Riddler, and they've got a couple other cards over there. They're both spells. Seems like they might have the Force of Negation. You have Fatal Push? No, they have Surgical Extraction on Thoughtseize. So, almost certainly my opponent thought that Bilbo targets, but Bilbo doesn't target. And this is just like a really exciting turn for this card. A really exciting turn for this card to just like show how good it is that this does not target. I mean, I was also never taking the surgical extraction, so I don't know that it was correct for them to use there. It does give them the information that like blocking and discarding a card isn't going to work. Yeah, we can take the second Riddler, and then the Gorios is not going to do much because they're not going to untap with the Frog in play. Well, I guess they can Gorios the Superior Spider-Man if they want. I guess it does do actually a good. It does deal a good bit of damage because it's a 4/4, and they could hit me for 7 damage down to 2. I don't think I'd be too upset if that was the line they took here, though. They did, I guess, them surgically my Thoughtseize makes the 3 flow states in my hand worse for whatever that's worth. That's worth something for sure. Their hand is Mending Goryo's Mystery card. So they may be looking at Goryo's Superior Spider-Man. Commando with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. The maturing Spider-Man can enter Riddler. Yeah, Riddler or Frog. If I guess if it's enters as Frog, they could only discard 2 cards to deal me the extra damage. Looks like they are going to go for the Gorios. Frog and Riddler are kind of the same. Just like this can deal me extra damage. Riddler is capped at capped at 4. So they discard the Mending 2, deal me that extra 1. And then so maybe they're trying to draw Ephemerate, and then when they Ephemerate the Spider-Man, they can copy Riddler, then attack me for 4 next turn, but Bilbo can just flash back the Edict if they do find the Ephemerate. And they don't. So I'm gonna cast Flow State. We could flash back Flow State for 1, but I guess we wouldn't get 2 modes, and we wouldn't get 2 modes, and I want to hold up Counterspell so we can just keep recurring the Bauble. I'm Aspiring Spike, and boy oh boy is the standard card good with Mishra's Bauble. Looks like they put a Prismatic Ending, or sorry, a Mystical Dispute in the yard there. So I'm gonna cast Preordain so I can flash back the Flow State for 1. Although I guess we'll save the Flow State for next turn and just play another Bauble and hold up Counterspell. The Bauble see a lot of playing Cold Snap Standard. So my understanding with Bauble was that it was a card that had basically seen no play ever. And at my first ever Grand Prix, this was like when it happened, was I think it was Patrick Chapin who played this like Teamer Prowess deck, and in this Prowess deck, he was playing Mishra's Bauble to trigger Swift Spear and Abbot of Carol Keep, and I think there's maybe like Hooting Mandrills in the deck, or like there's maybe more synergies, but like this, it was a big find. Like Mishra's Bauble was like a big find enabler, which is kind of funny to think about it. Think about it that way now. It does look like they have dispute. I'm gonna totally let that dispute resolve if they do have it. I'm in no rush. It was Chapin, yeah. That's how I remember. I think I remember like seeing him be interviewed. Like I saw it happen. Like I was there when the text was written. And thanks, Patrick Chapin. I've been playing Mishra's Bauble ever since. First trick was Esper with 8 Tasker Gurmag, no stab. I remember it as being an Abbot of Carol Keep Swift Spear deck, but you know, memories are kind of funny. It could be totally totally not that at all. So we can replay the Nihil Spellbomb for 0. Well, we can't ever lose. We'll just take our time to cross the finish line. Maybe, okay, great. They're going to Thoughtseize me so they can see how absolutely dead they are. Is Modern robust right now? I've never been asked about the robustness of a format. I don't know how to answer that question. If they find another Thoughtseize, I guess they can't quite play it this turn. Tron was funny enough the first big deck to play Bauble. Wait, why did Tron play Bauble? Just a cycle? All right, we continue to play a long game in which we can never lose. I guess I could keep up Snare and Force. I mean, one of the 3 cards is Thoughtseize. You know if the loop detection stuff was implemented? You know, I haven't played a combo deck since it was implemented. They like it came like the loop detection stuff came out, then Magic Online died for like 2 days or a day and a half. So I don't know if they undid any of the stuff they implemented or not. All right, I think I just snare this. Boldly casting the Thoughtseize with 1 card in hand and concede the match. Okay, I think I'm going to finish the rest of this league up tomorrow. I got a meeting tonight. Can't really continue, especially with how slow the match is. Deck. The Hammer has been a deck that I've been having my eye on for a little while. I think there's been a lot to like about Hammer as an archetype recently. And let's see. I'm going to look at the top cards so I can know what I'm surveilling here. Okay, basic mountain, snow covered mountain. I'm not sure. Let me see what my top card is. Cling. Let me just go put that in the yard for some value, I guess, and then we'll see what's up over there. I think God Shadow usually plays like Grixis / like Shadow decks. Might be misremembering. Let's see. Do I want to just hold up Counterspell? I think I'm gonna just play a Frog. We saw a Mountain, so they may be on like red removal. I feel like Drown in the Lock is appealing to Bilbo since we flashback as removal spell. Yeah, maybe. I don't dislike that at all. Looks like they do have the Fatal Push, which is unfortunate. So yeah, some kind of Grixis Wizard's Shell reveals a Flare of Denial. Interesting. So I definitely want this flow state. And I guess I'm just gonna resolve this right now. I don't think my opponent's gonna have too much to tap out for that really gets me, and having the 2-for-1 here is so nice. Okay, we'll take the Bauble and the Bilbo. And so they have a Mountain in their hand, they have a Flare of Denial in their hand, and they got a Snare in their hands. Their Snare is gonna be pretty good. They get him for 1 with the trainer. All right, let me just surveil this turn, I think. Graveyard that. Yeah, we're finishing the league. Right now we're 2-1 in this league from yesterday. We lost to Affinity, beat Brood-Scale, beat Goryo's, and overall I feel like I was really happy with how the deck was playing. Right, they keep a card on top. Untapped Watery Grave. All right, we're gonna Fatal Push this trainer so they don't have the Flare of Denial up. It's actually a great draw. Help us maneuver around their hand this turn. They might like go like 3 mana Flare of Denial. Okay, they don't. So they have 2 Snapcaster Mages. We have Cling to Dust in their hand to maybe try to maneuver around that. They have a Subtlety, so maybe if I play So if I play Bilbo, they'll probably hardcast Subtlety and we counterspell. But then they get to go snap Fatal Push. And if we wait, we go Bilbo, counterspell, they snare back. I think I am going to take the Subtlety. I have this Cling to Dust in my yard that's going to make these Snapcasters a good bit worse. Hey, Canister, thanks for the raid. Hope y'all are doing well. Also, one thing that's kind of interesting about Bilbo maybe is the Bilbo makes the Cling to Dust cost 3 mana to escape. Although, they just are going to snare, so I don't think... I think I'm just going to go ahead and Cling to Dust that Fatal Push now. And they can Snapcaster or Fatal Push their own Snapcaster if they want, and I will be okay if that happens. So I can get rid of the second Bauble, can get rid of the Frog, and then I need to make sure... I guess I'll get rid of Preordain? So I've drawn another copy of Flow State. Let me go ahead and see what they're drawing, since we've got a pretty complete idea of their hand. I guess let me make sure I can clean this up a little bit. Oh, dang it. They do have a second Snapcaster. And they played the mountain, so... Okay, an island on top. And Subtlety gone, so... They have second Snapcaster here. And then one mystery card. So I go Flow State, they go Snare. I can counterspell the Snare or let it go. Yeah, I think I like this, because if they go Snare, I counterspell, and then they go Snap Snare, I can snare the Snapcaster. If they hardcast Flare, that's, I guess, okay. Yeah, so they let the Snare resolve, so to cast one of their 2 Snapcasters, I assume. Maybe they'll end up casting the Flare. I feel like with the Cling to Dust, they're really going to want to cast a Snapcaster, though. Yeah. So I'm going to just go ahead and not click off of the Snapcaster, because we know I accidentally clicked off one earlier. So their hand is Flare, Flare, Snapcaster, Mage, Island. Or sorry, no, Island. They're drawing Island next turn, but it'll be that plus a mystery card next turn. You'll just take the 2 spells and pass back. Maybe supposed to take land. I don't think so. So they play that island. Okay, so we'll go play land, cast Flow State. If they go Snapcaster for the snare, we could Cling to Dust in response. Although I guess if we Cling to Dust in response, they do have the Flare up. I think it's okay if we make them flare the Cling to Dust. It's got to be a win, right? Yeah, and I have like Bilbo Force next turn. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I just let it resolve. I think it's fine. We can push the snap first before we cling. Well, cling costs 4 to escape, so no, but I mean, it doesn't really matter to push first. Is it not blue flare? I mean, they could spend 3 mana on the blue flare. It's like they're not going to snack. They're going to sacrifice the Snapcaster at this point in the game. Okay, so let's play Bilbo with the intention to hardcast Force of Negation against the Flare of Denial. If they've drawn a Subtlety, that we could get kind of got here, I guess. So they don't Flare of Denial. Maybe they just have a removal spell. They untap. Then they play Cascade Bluffs. I mean, the hand is Flare of Denial, 2 mystery cards. Good to know they have some bolts in the deck for me to blank with the frog. Okay, so I can attack and I can just recur the Bauble here. Correct, now I might draw the 3rd Force of Negation. Good to know about that Subtlety. Subtlety is always so much worse when your opponent knows about it. So is Bean Bong super good? Is that what the people are calling this card? Bilbo's been very good, I think, yeah. Seeing this deck, does Inside Information potentially work in a blue-black control deck where value is better than raw mana power. Talking about inside information, I'm thinking that if you're gonna play that card, you can play it potentially like as like a one or two of in like some coffer shells and just be okay with the idea that it's going to be bad sometimes, but it's going to be really, really crazy sometimes, and you play less copies to mitigate that variance. But if you want to really maximize the power level, I think what you really need is to play a deck that has a lot of life gain. And so Children of Corliss is really interesting. Just playing Guide and Pride is interesting. Playing Sorin with Children of Corliss has been something I've been wanting to do for a little bit. We've got a draft of a deck that I've been kind of looking at. Yeah, I think I'll draw that Thoughtseize and then just Thoughtseize maybe the last card in their hand and then hold up Counterspell. And then I'm thinking also like Phyrexian Tower is a way for you to potentially I don't know when they drew that subtlety. Phyrexian Tower is the second subtlety is a way for you to potentially ramp some of this stuff out. Maybe you play some of like the dies creatures make a treasure, and so I'm not having the easiest time figuring out these decks I'm describing here, but I am trying to figure it out. Okay, so we are up a game against Grixis Flash. Is that how you'd call this deck? I think so. Grixis Wizards, I guess, with the trainer. Thundertrap Trainer is kind of their best card in the matchup, maybe. I think that I'd like to play probably 2 Nihil Spellbombs over 2 Forces. I think the third one's kind of a lot. Hope we see Bilbo questing Drew for super value. At the moment, I'm pretty unlikely to do that, it seems. Like, if you have active Bilbo, you're just doing so well that it doesn't seem like you need to play suboptimal cards. As much as I like Questing Druid and have had a lot of fond memories with that card, I just kind of have a list of cards that are like that I used to play before Modern Horizons 3 and are kind of power leveled out of the format, and Questing Druid it's kind of one of those cards. It's kind of one of those cards. And the fact that it's a any card draw spell's nuts when you got active Bilbo. You don't need it to be a suboptimal one. Sorry to be a spoil sport here. Okay, so they flip over a Counterspell. Alright, well, we don't want to play the Bilbo into a possible Flame of Anor. What's the synergy? So Bilbo, you can play the adventure cards from the graveyard with Bilbo, and then you can play the Questing Druid. Which is pretty cool. I guess maybe we get got by Flame anyways on the Nihil Spellbomb like this. Okay. Would definitely like to draw that. Having a fun match right now. I thought another part of the synergy was that the cards exiled also cost 1 less. Yeah, that too. Like, it does seem really, really good with Bilbo in play, but I'm just saying, I'm worried about the power level of the card when you don't have Bilbo in play. Like, Bilbo is a very fragile card. Like, you need your deck to be able to like let Bilbo die and just keep running. You need to be able to keep running once your Bilbo dies. You can't crumble. Juicy with the 57 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Sub to the elf waiting room. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get to elves today. It kind of depends on if I want to play. We're gonna play Hammer. I might do 2 leagues of Hammer if Hammer's really nuts, and I do think that there's a small chance the Hammer League is gonna go really, really good. I'm kind of getting hyped for it. We'll see. Maybe I just play second Bilbo here. For Bilbo, the best shell is Dimir. I think Bilbo is like for sure good in this shell, I'll say. And I think that there are other shells you can play. And I think there's a lot to like about being red instead, getting to play Channeler, getting to play Corey Steelcutter is kind of exciting. Potentially Flame of Anor, although this is not a wizard. I think there's some stuff to like about Grixis. You could maybe be a blue-white build. You definitely have options. I mean, if my opponent has a removal spell, they can stop me from attacking anyways, so let's just Thoughtseize first. Okay, interesting. Their hand sucks. Sorry, Snapcaster. So let's go take Counterspell. Attack with the Bilbo. Thoughtseize the other Counterspell. And then they should go Snapcaster target Counterspell here. But I'll be Nihil Spellbombing that to... But we'll let the target happen, I guess, first. Not misclick this time. There's maybe some argument for not drawing the card here. I think I'm just going to draw the card. Okay, I drew the untapped land. That's nice. So I can play the Bilbo after they block. I can play this Bilbo before they can have the snap counterspell up. Well, I guess next turn they can go snap counterspell whenever I flashback with Bilbo and then block. And I guess that's going to be okay because I just have new Bilbo. I think I'm okay to draw that card, sure. Love being able to recur stuff like Nihil Spellbomb. It's been feeling pretty nice. So they're going to have 2 mystery cards in their hand. And I'm going to have a Sheoldred's Edict off the top. We'll see what happens. I've seen Shang-Chi and Scroll Curl Breaking Pioneer. I haven't. I mean, those cards are really good. I'm assuming Cub is still legal too. I don't know that whenever I hear that anything is being broken in Pioneer, I always take it with like, oh, Kozilek's Command, recur Snapcaster Mage. Let's go, dude. Can't even be upset with that. Whenever I hear that something is breaking Pioneer, I always take it with a really big grain of salt because people are just not playing Pioneer enough to like really feel like anything is being tested to the degree that like stuff would be broken. Okay, then they flashback Kozilek's Command on Snapcaster Mage. The last card Snare, which doesn't, just saves the Snapcaster, I guess. So I want to do this now because they have Snap Snare up. Did I say Kozilek? Did I really say Kozilek's? That's crazy. What have they done to me? Look what they took from us. Okay, so we'll keep our own Snare here for their Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, I'm really excited for the elves too. I love elves. I do. The big problem with elves is that the Badger Bowl decks, Devoted Druid, and then the Nantuko builds, or Quarian Ranger, whatever you want to call it, like those decks are, I do think mostly better than anything elves can do. Although the new elf card is really good, so we'll see. I'm gonna hold this in hand to discard to Kozilek's Command, I guess. Sorry, Kozilek. Look what they took from us. Fuck. I'm incapable of saying it. I've drawn 0 flow states this game too. Yeah, I'm enjoying this game a lot. It's not too often I get to play a match like this, so I'm really trying to prioritize enjoying this game. So this Nihil Spellbomb turns off the Snap Snare if it resolves. They may fight over it. They Lightning Bolt me with so they're gonna go Snap Bolt. Beautiful. They have 1 card left in their hand. Could try to draw a frog or a flow state here. I think it's okay to just nuke this graveyard. Or a Bilbo. Bilbo would be good. Okay, did draw the flow state. Nice. Another 5. Well, you know what? I'll take 2 more, please. Okay, command hand right? No, they've used it. When you Snapcaster K command, it doesn't go to your hand; it goes to exile. We're flowing. I'm gonna not take this Thoughtseize and be dead to another copy of Lightning Bolts. I'm gonna try to find a piece of counter magic or a frog here. Although I'm gonna say yes to Cling to Dust. I don't think there's much reason to deploy the Cling yet. I guess if they have Bolt, I can Cling to live. What a War is kind of funny. You know what? I probably yeah, I do have to hold up Counterspell, I guess, if they draw the they draw another Bolt. It's fun that the other Bolt was in the hand there. I think this is the first frogs I'm drawing in. Okay, so I let that go, so I can hold up the Counterspell. But these are the first frogs I'm drawing in 44 cards. Interesting. What the fuck? Is this Traumatic Critique? I do love that card. Artifacts shouldn't get exiled if they get countered off Bilbo. It might be bugged. Oh no, didn't they Force of Negation this? Oh, it's 1, okay. But then when X equals 3, which is interesting, I feel like maybe X equals 2 would hold up for Subtlety was better. So let's go ahead and gain 3 life. So they hand a Subtlety, they're top decking something new. It's funny, all of my frogs and all my flow states are at the bottom of the deck this match, or this game. Alright, so we draw 2 cards. So it doesn't seem like there's much purpose in playing the frog into the Subtlety. I think I can just pass here. So let me exile the Bolt. If they have Snapcaster as their last card, we've got the Snare in our hand, of course. Can never flash back the counter magic. I guess exile those. Drew a copy of Bilbo. So I think now we just gain 3 life. Gonna target the top Bilbo there. Exile, Counterspell. I guess we could get rid of one of our 4 flow states. Although I guess I might be Preordain. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. We have plenty of a graveyard we played. We're on turn 17. They Flare of Denial this. Okay. So I suppose we're dead to top deck Lightning Bolt. Not dead to top deck Snapcaster. They've used 2 bolts already. They may have trimmed some. I am a frog deck too. Don't deck out. We're gonna be okay. It is not gonna come down to that. It's not there's almost no chance. Right. Okay, so we are 3-1. Lost to Affinity, beat Broodescale, beat Goryo's, beat Grixis Control. Very fun match. Thank you, God Shadow. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. I like this hand. I will keep. My opponent has played Thundering Falls tapped. Could be Prowess. They were last seen playing Jeskai Energy. Let's see if they were playing a Thundering Falls. You know, energy. Calling this energy is kind of funny. Goldfish is just so broken. It just is like I don't know. This is how I don't know how this doesn't land in just Jeskai control. Second Thunder Trap Trainer opponent in a row if they're still playing this. Yeah, looks like they are. So get pretty punished for not holding up the snare, I guess. Although they don't have... Okay, they kept a card on top or bottom. They're always keeping a land on top in this spot. Yeah, it seems like I should take the trainer. Would have been great to snare. Get the flow state online sooner. Your deck yesterday simply archetyped as blue. I mean, I think that that's fine. They keep a card on top. Okay, so I think it's fine to play this frog. They're going to go Galvanic Discharge, and I'm going to discard Watery Grave Spell Snare. And then this will, if they have a second white source, they can use one of their Wrath Disguise to deal with the frog. But then I can, I have my flow state online. Why did you play Thought's a lot? Why did you decide to play Thoughtseize alongside Counterspell? I thought it was a cardinal sin. It's pretty okay with Bilbo at least. It is like something you don't always want to do, but you have to have a pretty good reason to do it. And I think Bilbo's a good reason. So they find a lore and reveal. So it seems like they were indeed missing that second white source. Let's fly this frog. There's only 8 creatures seem light. I think it's fine. It's definitely a little light, but both the creatures are just gonna they're just gonna win you the game. They do get that fountain. I'm not too worried about it. So they wait, untap fountain, they attack first so that they can try to sweep the board. We might get the snare or Wrath Disguise here, although they may also cast Verdict because I've got the counter magic repped. So they're playing around Snare by going Wrath X equals 1. Do you have Bilbo good / back counter? No, but this is our 5th match and it's been really good so far. Well, I guess we haven't played it this game. Bilbo's been great. Flow state also has been, I think, really stellar. So I guess I technically have Force up because I can cling into Force. Which I think we'll do here. I'm going to pitch the Snare. Maybe it's okay to let it resolve and then, kill it with the frog. Yeah, this would have been really risky. Okay, so their hand is Verdict, and that's it. So it'd be nice to flow state in the Thoughtseize, take the Verdict, then play Bilbo. But we're in very good shape for sure. I don't know that I want to play the Bilbo into the Verdict, but I am doing pretty good. Okay, well. I guess we'll take Thoughtseize and Force of Negation, so we could be better. I think being better against top deck Planeswalker is more important than being better against top deck Verdict, exactly, because we could force a different removal spell. Now my 2/2 is bigger than their 1/2. Got 2 flow states in the yard for Bilbo. Yeah, Bilbo's been really good. It's been really good. We also have 1 in play, so you could watch also. I put this in the go live notification, but Key to the Side Door was very good. I'd even go as far to say great. Key to the Side Door was great. Inside Information still to be determined, and Bilbo's been good. And then we're going to be playing Keeley, the Pure Steel Paladin Dwarf, after this. All right, so they got a card in their hand. We'll see. Maybe see what it is here. Maybe the best possible. All right. So we're up a game here. I've not played Goblins yet, no. So maybe a little light on hate cards for a deck like this. The edicts are good. They kill planeswalkers, but the pushes are pretty bad. So let me just double check their Jeskai Energy Shell. So they have 4 Trainer, 4 Solitude, 0 Graveyard Synergies. So I guess the Vexing Baubles are going to be a little bit better than Nihil Spellbombs. They could be awkward with. I mean I got more. They have Solitudes, but I've got Forces and Baubles. Maybe it's just more awkward for me. They have 1 Scepter in the sideboard, which is interesting. I wonder if they would bring it in here. They probably would bring it in. So the Consign can counter Trainer ETB, Solitude ETB, can pitch to Force. They have a Mystic Gate. It's the only break the ice. And they have a Gaia Reach. They do have 2 break the ice targets, I guess. They have no Flame of Anor, so I don't really care so much about. I actually don't even know why they're playing these Thundertrap trainers. They have no Flame of Anor, no Flare of Denial. I feel like this card's not that good. Yeah, the trainers are just gonna get swept up by their sweepers. Maybe we'll play 1, because if they have 2 of them, it's kind of awkward. They can double block Bilbo. Sure, we'll do this. Yeah, this is the end of yesterday's league. Vexing doesn't have Orm Chapter. Yeah. So yeah, maybe the sideboard needs a little bit of anti-control hate. There have been a ton of control decks for sure. Then they use a flare last game. I think you're confusing the match we just played. A bit worried about a Teferi Time Raveler, I guess. As we should be. Well, you can't Thoughtseize the top of the deck, I guess. Maybe we'll draw a Force of Negation off the Bauble or can Surveil into it. Okay. Or that. That works too. Or that. That works 3. Okay. I think I'm leading on Bilbo. I'm not actually sure that this is right. Bilbo's Legendary is kind of what I'm thinking. Obviously, this game is just like a lot easier if they miss this land drop here. Okay, so they pitched a fairy. It's good. Take that. You know what? Serves you right, opponent. It serves you right. So they drew the land. So if I discard 2 cards to the frog, yeah, the Narset will be dead before the Narset will be dead and I'll get to draw my card. So why don't we go discard Edict, discard Snare? I think I gotta keep an Edict. I think we just cast a Flow State before the Lantern comes down. Nice. You can discard 1 card to kill Narset, aka cast Edict. Yeah, but then I have to use 2 mana. And then I want a 3/4 frog because they just have they have 2 more Narsets in their hand, or 1 more Narset. Wait, oh yeah, I thought these are Narset. That's right. I'm like, how did this other Narset get in the yard? So their hand is Lantern, Days Undoing, and then a new mystery card off the Narset here. 100 thanks, the Twitch Prime, thank you. 100 thanks to you. And then they concede. So we 4-1 this league. Bilbo was really good. I was really happy with this deck. They probably do need a little bit more for these control matchups. They are something I kind of am neglecting a lot. They are just kind of good in Modern right now. Oh, okay, there we go. We 4-1 this league. We lost to Affinity. Affinity is going to be tough. We could play another Explosives maybe. I think if we also won the die roll that game, or that match, we probably would have won. Okay, let's pivot. Got a lot to get to. Or maybe not a lot, but we got something to get to.